Welcome to the channel, The Pop Enthusiast. I'm Paul, and today we have a very special guest joining us, Christian Braun, the founder and CEO of hobbyDB and the Pop Price Guide. So we have a really fun discussion here that we're going to have about some new features, the new premium membership, and make sure you stay to the end of the video because we have a very special discount offer for folks that are subscribed to this channel and in my Facebook group, All Things Funko with the Pop Enthusiast. So we're going to talk about some new features that actually one that just was added, which is really neat that we were just chatting about, and just an overview of what you can do on the Pop Price Guide. And thank you so much, Christian, for taking some time and joining me again. I know we had a conversation, what was it, 5 years ago?
I know, quite a while, but thanks for having me, Paul.
Been a while. Yeah, your background has not changed and neither has mine in 5 years.
Well, I'm wondering if there's some new in there. I just love that phase of smiling Funko, mostly smiling Funko Pops looking at me.
Yeah, they stare at me nonstop. Well, thanks again, Christian, for joining me. So I know that at least in the Facebook group that I have, and when the changes were announced with the Pop Price Guide, there were differing. There was feedback of positive and negative, right? So whenever change happens, some people don't like it, and especially when there's a fee behind it, and maybe some features that they were used to accessing that someone can't access. But there's so much value in the membership that when you really put it all together, and I also realized that in a lot of the comments that I saw, there was a lot of confusion, and I don't think people really, not everybody really understands like what you get and what's really changing. And so I really appreciate you coming on to kind of really clear the air and talk about that.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, could we start with the changes that have been made? What are the most significant changes to the Pop Price Guide?
So we started hobbyDB 10 years ago with the idea of building a database of every collectible ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a natural extension to Wikipedia. So we have now 55,000 Funko pages. We've got about 65,000 Hot Wheels pages. We have 100,000 Hard Rock Cafe pins. The idea is to document every collectible ever made and to keep that as a free resource. It's built by collectors. There's 2,600 volunteers now that build it for other collectors. Running something like that is not totally cheap. We have about $6,000 in monthly hosting costs alone just for the servers.
Right.
We have a development team, and there's tons of other stuff, unfortunately, that comes with running a business like insurance and so on and so forth. So we were going to. The plan was always to finance this with advertising, but advertising has become harder and harder. There are more pages out there. There's less money for it. And with changes to cookies and so on and so forth, it just doesn't work. So we were like, what do we do? And we also have so many plans. You can see there's a roadmap we have on our help page that shows the 600 changes we still want to make.
600? You said 600?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Every day there's 2 or 3 good ideas, mostly from our users that come, and it could be something small, it could be something big, stuff that we should enable. And actually some of that I'll show you in a second that we've done. So we were like, to do this, we just have to get a more solid revenue base, and we felt that it was fair to ask people to pay $30 a year. We wanted to keep it small, $30 a year for a nice package of services. Sure. But if they don't want to, they can stay free members. A free member can manage their collection, they can manage their wish list, they can see all the stuff we have. There's been no change in that. It's just stuff like selling is now free. You can have a showcase, and we've done a lot of work with the showcase. You can start trading. That's also a new feature. And there's a bunch of other smaller things. Like for example, you can print out the collection or export it. You can have what we call a gains and loss report. We can see what has increased and not. And we have a lot of plans in that regard to do more features. Some of them will be for all members. Some of them will be for premium.
Got it. Yeah, and you have 3 different plans, right? So there's a monthly plan, which is $4.99, a quarterly plan, which is $9.99, and annually, which is the $29.99.
Yeah, and the free plan. So it's 4 plans.
And the free, and the free plan, right? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you like, I'll show you. I'm excited about the showcase. I'm show you what we've done there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with the showcase. Absolutely. That sounds great.
I mean, so, the showcase has always had this thing here where you can see your collection stats. How much is it worth? How is that changing over time, etc., etc. But and we introduced maybe a year ago this list thing where you can have different lists. So here's this particular member's Batgirl, and here's Batman, and here's his Joker stuff. And you can see that what happens is this is now also changing. So you can get your top 10 Batmans, your estimated value of those. And as you can see, these are my top 10 Batgirls. So you can have things like your gallery. We also recently introduced vouched by. This is if you want to trade on our site, well, you need trading, you need reputation, and the vouching helps in that regard. But you can also use it if you just want to trade on Facebook or elsewhere. So you can see, you can now vouch for another member, and you can see what they vouch for. You can click through and see who that person is, and see if you like that person, or if you know that person. You can have something like this where you show other stuff. So the showcase has a lot of little aspects. You can see how powerful it is if you look at Cerulean here, another member. Look at all her lists. And every one of them now has a valuation of that particular list. So, here's your green arrow list, and the value of that list, and so on and so forth. And you can have an item in more than one list. You can also now choose to show your items for sale or trade. We'll talk about that in a second in your showcase. So there's a lot more that you can do now. In fact, you could just overlay URL, and then that could be your website.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot more capability with the filtering and kind of drilling down specifically into different lists, like these top 10 lists.
Absolutely. You can see, you can sort in different ways. And also, if let's say you wanted to see, does she have Chrome items? You want to see every item that, so here's all our Chromed items. I can take that URL and send it to you, and you see exactly what I'm seeing. And it's
nice.
dynamic as it changes. So, for example, I could share my wish list with you. She doesn't have one. I can share my wish list with you, and then you see real time what I'm currently looking for.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And one of the new features that we're working on is a combined wish list, where you will be able to see, let's say you have 6 friends that you generally trade with. You can see all of the items that these 6 are looking for. So if you find something, you can either just buy it. We're going to put in the top amount that the people want to pay for it and the condition that they're looking for. Or you can just ring them up and say, hey, I'm at this toy show, and they have the pet bike that you're looking for. It's $30. Should I buy it?
Okay.
And then they can say yes or no, right? So stuff like that, where you can just use the showcase for more purposes.
Right. Got it. Okay. So then this is with the premium membership. You can do all these different features with your top 10, your showcase, your gallery, kind of sharing the links to these things with other folks.
That's right. That's right. Okay. The vouch for works for anybody, but the rest of the stuff works for premium members.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So I know that the showcase was a big deal, and it has been a big deal, and a lot of folks really, I think, like that. I like that. It was fun to make lists and be able to show, post them in groups and show off. We used to do a top 10 Tuesday in my Facebook group. We haven't been consistent with it, but that was neat to kind of see. And people mainly use Pop Price Guide for that top 10 list. I think other.
And now what you can do is you can say, let's do the top 10 Batman, for example.
Right.
You can do more thematic. You can also compare your top 10 Batman to, say, your top 10, I don't know, Harley Quinn, or your Disney versus your Marvel, or Marvel versus DC, right? You can slice and dice the data now any way you like, and it will calculate the value of that collection for you.
So let's talk about the value calculation, if you don't mind, too. I know that there's been a lot of questions and comments that I've seen just in the Funko community about, where price points are being pulled, or there's like there's misunderstanding, I think, about how that actually comes together. There's perception, I think, that maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right. I don't know. So what would you say about that, the actual value estimations?
Well, why don't I explain how we do it?
Sure.
Sharing with you again here. We wanted to, when we started Pop Price Guide, it actually started by a guy called John Hamm, who then joined us. It was easy. There was only eBay, and there was nothing else. I don't know if you were around at the time. And eBay gave us all the data, and we had everything, and it was simple. And then other sites came along. I'm not quite sure who was first. StockX, Mercari, whatnot. Facebook became the place to trade. So, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to get all those prices. So we now support 84 different price points. You can see them here. Wow. It's anything from the retail price. The retail price is really the starting point, right? If it's a $15 item or a $10 item, that's kind of the starting point. That's what you pay for it, hopefully, when you get it at the time you get it. We then have external price guides. We have about 60, 70 auction houses now. Some of them give us the data automatic, like Pristine Auctions, which is important for autographed Funko Pops. eBay, our own marketplace, Mercari, StockX, whatnot, Yahoo. We have some retailers like 7 Pups a Pop. We also have team verified, and I'll explain what that means in a second. And then the only thing that we don't use is Craigslist, Facebook, Amazon. And the reason why we don't use those is because you can't verify it. What I mean by verifying, there's no URL which you can click on and see if something really sold. So if somebody said they sold on Facebook for $60, you kind of have to just believe them. And
you can manipulate that easily.
So that can be easily faked, and therefore that only counts if it goes through what we call team verified. So team verified is here. This is a good example. This is a 12 run Freddy Funko. So it's a highly valuable item. You can see we have it for $39,000, and the only ever public transaction was this eBay sale in 2016 for $3,500. Things were cheaper back then.
Well, let me ask you. Can I ask you a question about that real quick? So I know some collectors that have made some pretty big deals, with other folks. It wasn't through a platform, it was thousands of dollars where they sold a Freddy Funko Venom or whatever it is, and so it's not documented anywhere except for like in the public record, so to speak. Is there a way? Do you guys incorporate those too, or is there a way to incorporate?
So that's what this team verified is. So if you see this one here, this is a $30,000 transaction. If you click on it, if you click on the image here, it will show you that we got all that documentation. So what we do is there's a team of 15 volunteers, and they have their own forum, and basically somebody proposes this price point. He says he knows the seller, he knows the buyer. We then talk to the seller and buyer. We get all the documentation, same thing here. So we get all the documentation. They look at it, they vote on it, and there may be questions back and forth. And if it's team verified, then it gets added here. Now, for obvious reasons, we don't show people's email address or bank accounts or anything like that, but we have seen it. So all of that's documented, and that's why we have these type of transactions now. That we wouldn't have otherwise, because anything over $10,000 tends to be done privately.
Or at a show.
So that's team verified. Another thing we just brought in is, as you know, on the 27th of I think March, Mercari changed the way they price. It used to be normal, so the seller would pay a fee. Now the buyer pays that fee. It's 10% plus 3. So that makes a difference. So we had to change our system, and now any price point that comes in through Mercari that's before that date, here's one. You can see now it includes the 13% buyer's fee. So we add that to the price because what we're really trying to do is saying, how much would you be willing to buy this item for. And the buyer's fee is obviously part. I mean, you might forget it the first time you buy something in Mercari, but definitely the second time you remember that you have to pay that. So it's part and parcel of what you value. And on our blog, we often share our thoughts. So this is something we just posted. Should shipping be included in a price point? Gets asked all the time. And we say no, and we explain the reasons why. Because it depends what the person is. It's too hard for a seller then to take into account, and so on and so forth. But we have a huge amount of documentation on everything we do. So if you have any question on the price guide, this is our documentation, the knowledge base, and you can see exactly how we do stuff. So for example, how do we add price points from Whatnot? Whatnot is one of those disputed price points. There's a lot happening there. There's also, and there's difference if an item gets put up as a 99 cents or $1 starting auction versus a fixed price. That's different. What's also different is some sellers like Savage Pop have hundreds of people in the room, and you get a decent price for your item. Other sellers might not, and therefore we may not take their price point. So we constantly experiments and trial how we should add these price points so that they are the best reflection of value at the time. For example, or Whatnot, we currently, I think, accept sales from 5 different vendors where we believe there's enough liquidity in the room.
Okay.
So, so we're not accepting every Whatnot price, but those. StockX is different there. We accept everything. eBay, we got a list of about 160 blacklisted sellers that we think sell fakes or manipulate prices. So those we don't. And we have 2,600 volunteers now. There's a constant discussion on how do we do these kinds of things. And for example, if one of the volunteers believe that an eBay vendor sells fakes, then they can propose them for deletion. Then somebody else has to second it, and then we have a vote on it. So there's a lot of processes that go in the background that trying to make sure that the pricing is as good as it possibly can be.
Right. And what you may have come across too, what I find to be true is that if people don't know, they tend to fill in the gap, and it's not accurate. You might fill in, the space of things that you don't know, and just with things that aren't actually true, and then that's what dictates somebody's perception.
Absolutely, and that's why. And there's about 300 pages here in the knowledge base, and we really encourage people, if you have any question on how things on hobbyDB or Pop Price Guide work, there is the answer here somewhere in there. Please go in and look and find out. And if you have questions, you can always ask us. You also know every price point has the ability to flag, so you can flag a price point if you think there's anything wrong with it. And we are now dealing with flags in the week within 24 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's about 95% of the flags. Some flags need a discussion. So, for example, if we get about 60 flags a day. If somebody says this is a fake item, that is a discussion we put in the group. So we generally will put it in the next day, and it generally lasts for 24 hours. Unless there's some uncertainty, then we have to dig a little bit deeper. But the idea is we use that very vast knowledge that we have in our volunteer force to really understand what it is. And then I don't know if you've seen, we also we've added the ability to add fake photos now, because we're talking so much about fakes, and we're learning so much about it. So if you click on an item, I know there's a fake photo here on this one here. If you click on an item and we have a fake photo, we share that, and we're looking for more of those. So it says one fake image. If you click on that, it will tell you what makes this item fake.
Okay.
I probably have too much open. So, for example, this one is missing the word "the vote." That was the early fake. I know there's another fake, and we're just having a discussion at the moment. That's why I thought about this one.
Right. But I think it's a moving target, right? It's
it's
value.
A moving target, but anything we can help the audience with our community with is great, right? And also, once you see more of these, often it's the fading and the pop. So as you see more of these, you become more aware of it.
Yeah.
So, and if we can help just 2 or 3 people of not buying a fake pop here on this page, and then on any other page wherever, that's great.
Well, I think that'll do a lot to add to people's confidence about the marketplace on the PPG. If you don't mind, if we can talk about that next.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the marketplace. So when I heard that you have 0 fees for the marketplace, that seems like a big deal to me. And I know that in order for the marketplace to be successful, there would need to be people, a lot of sellers and buyers accessing the marketplace, and it would be beneficial for everybody. The more people that are involved in that. So that's what the premium plan gets you is access to no fees in the marketplace, correct?
That's right. There's no fee selling or for trading, which is a new feature that we have. And we thought we're the prime place to document your collection. You can sell elsewhere, but we wanted to have the ability to sell here and or trade. And I'll show you how that works now because the trading is new. Basically, what you can do is you can scan your item using our app, or you can just type in Skeletor 1006 or whatever to find your item. Once you're on the page, you can see this one, for example, is in 9 collections and 34 wish lists. If you put this up for sale, those 34 people get a notification, unless they said they didn't want that. So 90% of them will get a notification that this item has now come up for sale or trade. And if I click on the sell here, you can see it now gives me 6 options. I can just have a buy now price, but I could also just make it best offer or best offer buy now. And then the most recent thing is trade. So I can put it up for trade. And that means that other people can make me offers of items that are on my wish list or whatever else they want to do. So you can tick and choose here what you want to do: trade, best offer, buy now, and super simple. I mean, basically, all you got to do is click on the continue button. You can add your own photos, and for an item like this, I would recommend that. If it's a $10 item, you can just use a standard photo, do this, and then for sale. I'm not doing that now because then those 36 people have on the wish list will get a notification, and I don't have this. But it takes literally 10 seconds to put an item for sale. So let's sell this one here. So again, click the sell button, put in your price, click continue, put your own image in. You can put in as many images as you like, or select the standard photo, list for sale. So that's all you got to do. And
pretty quick.
Now it's up for sale.
Nice. Now, one question that comes to mind that I know that folks in the community are probably going to ask, and in my group and my Facebook group, is how can they verify, or if there's an issue or something goes awry with the transaction, whether you're buying it and you don't get it, or if you're selling something, and what are the potential issues, and is there any involvement from hobbyDB or PPG in that resolution process? Yeah.
So there's 2 things here. First of all, we show you a lot about the seller. So, it's always best to avoid problems. You can see here, for example, I just clicked on the marketplace. So these items were just listed. You can go and look who that person is by just clicking on their showcase. And that gets you to see their showcase. So this person has joined in 2021. And he has a note called honesty. Other people. So you can see here, this is the new thing, member voucher. You can see who vouched for that person. This is their showcase. This is the other items they're selling. So you can learn a lot about them. So this says Loot Island is a USA-based veteran-owned small business. We sell everything from punk. You can see their feedback. So they have 1 rating. They've made 7 sales so far. So there's a lot of information that it gives you. You can also communicate with them by just sending them a private message saying, hey, let's say, for example, for this one, I possibly would ask for photos. So I would just send a private message saying, hey, can I get some, you click on here, can I get some photos, please?
Right.
So you can do a lot to avoid the problem. If the problem happens, it's a PayPal transaction, and it's not friends and family. So you can just go through PayPal. And as a buyer, you almost always prevail. It's hard to see a scenario where you don't get your money back.
Sure. Okay.
And you can reach out to us as well, and we'll give you advice. And we look at feedback. One of the other reasons why we've done selling is now part of premium. And the reason for that is we've become bigger as a marketplace. There's 100,000 items now, and we had a big influx of people that just opened an account, put up 50 items for sale, sold one or two, and made a runner. And there's just nothing we can do about that. Now we can. Now it's not happening anymore because now it's a premium feature. So
right.
I think our marketplace has become much safer because of that. There was a lot of transactions where either people bought it through the marketplace. We sold, I think in 1 week we sold 3 or 4 Clockwork Orange, $150. Well, obviously the guy didn't have them, right? And one I think was on the site, and it created a problem with our price guide because those automatically applied. And then the other 2 were sold privately, private message, possibly friend and family, I don't know. And of course that money is gone. So now having this as a premium feature, so it costs you $30 to sell annually or $5 a month, brought our fraud to virtually zero.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that does make a lot of sense. Now, how many folks do you feel like are in the marketplace, active, selling and buying? And I know that the bigger the marketplace, the more appealing it is.
We have 3,800 sellers at the moment.
3,800
sellers. That range from 1 item to 10,000 items. The nice thing is you can see that you can see items in the marketplace, but you can also see them in the database because we're not really a place people go to buy and sell. Some might, but because the item also shows in the database and it gets sent to everybody who has on the wish list. So I just clicked on the Samurai Brook here database listing. 65 people have on the wish list, so they will get a notification that this item has come out for sale.
Got it.
And I think that's much stronger for us. We're selling about 60% through the database versus the marketplace because you manage your collection, you manage your wish list, item comes up for sale, you get a notification. You didn't even know that you can buy on hobbyDB, but now it's obvious because you get that notification and you can just click through and buy it.
Now, do you get the notification if you're not a premium member? Or is that just for members?
Yes, you do.
You do. Oh, okay.
So I think that's probably the best part of our marketplace. That and also the ability to go down to the subvariant that you may want. For example, the Disney Store ones.
Yes.
If you want a Disney Store one and you add that to your wish list, that is so much easier than because if you go to eBay and just look for the Disney version, there's hundreds of them because the Disney is the more popular one, the more often occurring one. The Disney Store is the rare one.
Or if you're looking for a specific sticker, like a NYCC sticker versus a shared sticker, you can filter for what you want. Okay.
That's right. So you don't have to waste time basically with stuff that you don't want to you're not looking for. Yeah, and premium has just allowed us to do more stuff. I mean, it's clearly we've increased our pace of new features and stuff that we wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah,
like that top 10 estimated value, the ability to create your own lists, the ability to trade. There's a new view coming. We have that view where you see like 4 or 5 items per page. On a mobile phone, it's just really one item per page. We're going to bring in the grid view, which will show you 4 to 6 items on the mobile and maybe 16 items on the desktop at the same time. And you will be able to toggle back and forth. So if you just want to quickly see every Marvel pop ever made, then you can just quickly flick through until you see something you like. If you want to do more detailed research using the existing view.
So is there a way, and this is like the filtering capabilities, whether you're a premium member or not, is there a way to filter what you see in the feed? Because I know that over time, there's so many different items that you guys have added to include, signature.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see here. So on the left, we have brand series exclusive to, which is a new field. So if you only want to find exclusive, let's say you remember there was a Target exclusive, but you don't know what it is, you can just type in Target here and see all the Target exclusives, autographed by, so you can just see items autographed by Chevy Chase, say. Can't type Chevy Chase.
Yeah, so that is possible. That's a question that I've gotten before, because let's say
totally. I mean, you can see, so now I just see Chevy Chase, right? I can unclick that. I mean, you can also do things like, so I'm looking for Batman. And there's these two buttons up here called new and add, and they're quite important. So for example, now I have Batman, too much stuff. So I know it's Chrome. I can add the word Chrome to it.
Okay.
And now I'm getting Batman Chrome. And I can also do minus. So for example, if I don't want beyond, then I can say minus beyond. I'm adding that. It removes the beyond ones. And I can connect that. I can use that also with for example, the item filter. So I can say I only want the art toys, so not the pins. And I can say I only want production status exclusive or chase. Okay, there's none. So you can use these to go deeper. You can use the minus to exclude stuff. You can use the release date, so say from 2019. Apply. So you can use all these filters, and then you can also sort them by 6 different ways. When they were added, highest or lowest value, A to Z, release date, reference number, high to low, low to high, most owned. It's also kind of fun. You can see which one is the Funko Pop that owns by most people in hobbyDB. It's about 35,000, I think. So you can combine all of this here on the left and all of that. And we also have this experimental feature. Let me just get rid of stuff here, which is the group variants, and that just shows you different castings. So you can see, for example, you can see it only shows you items that are different than if you want to click in. Let's say the Riddler. If I click in, then that shows me. It would show me if there are more than one variant. So let's see if I do Chrome Batman. That's a better way of doing it.
Well, that's really cool because I know that the community's expanded quite a bit, and when I go in there, I'll see, there's the boxes with the artwork on it now. There's signatures, there's customs of all sorts of stuff. And
yeah,
so
we have 7,000 autographed items now,
and
we have prices for almost all of them. We have 3,000 customs. It may not be a thing, but there's some cool stuff out there. So yes, as I said, there's now when we took over Pop Price Guide, there were 3,500 Funko products. Now they're 55,000. Maybe I'll also briefly explain the difference between Pop Price Guide and hobbyDB.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, what it is. So the information on. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So you can see this is a page on Pop Price Guide, and that's the same page on hobbyDB. No difference. The main difference between the two of them is Pop Price Guide has a homepage that has a few thousand articles on Funko Pops, and when you search the database or subjects or market, it only shows Funko items. That's really the only difference. So if you look at, for example, this showcase, yours.
Oh wow, that's amazing! Look at that showcase. That's amazing.
I know. There's Pop Price Guide there, and here's the hobbyDB version. It's the same. As I said, the only difference, if you like Funko, Pop Price Guide is your home place. If you like other stuff equally well, then go to hobbyDB. It's the same account. Everything is the same. And the only difference is, let's say you have 98% Funko, but you have a few other items. You can go to hobbyDB and find them. So let's say you like the Handmade by Robert Chomp figures. You can go here. You can add one to your collection, and it will show now also in your Pop Price Guide showcase.
Oh, okay.
So
neat.
it's connected. So if you, as I said, you can choose to either go to hobbyDB or to Pop Price Guide. It really depends on what you want to see more. If you only want Funko, then Pop Price Guide has only that. Including customs and autographed.
Got it.
So that's the main difference. The app, because it's a cost point, uses hobbyDB. But as I said, everything that you add on the app will show you on your Pop Price Guide showcase or your hobbyDB showcase. And by the way, you can choose a list, like a room in your. I kind of consider the online museum. You can have every day a different page that the traffic goes to when they come to the showcase. It's called the spotlight. So if you create your lists, you can spotlight one list over others. You can also make lists private, so you can have some lists that are private, other lists that you share with people. And as said, the new changes is this one here, where you can see the value of all of those. And just to show you how versatile it is, I've just seen this guy here. This is another member. And while he collects bottle cars, I thought it was funny that his lists go by color, for example, really, and by decades. So he does, his orange, these are his orange cars. There you go. But he also has them by decade. So you can create as many of these lists as you like, and have your total own themes on that. We have collection management locations. So if you ever want to do an inventory, maybe important if you want to do a new record, you can do an inventory. You can find each shelf and what's on that shelf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did that manually, but thanks for letting me know that now. That I could. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, we even think of we will have a barcode, so you can barcode your shelf and scan it, and then you can see everything else on that shelf.
Oh wow! Well, that makes me think about what are some new features that you're comfortable with sharing, that you're either working on or that are going to be coming in the near future.
Yeah, so the hottest thing I think that's going to come is going to be the new view. So instead of and it will be a toggle, so you can choose which view you want to have. So at the moment, this is our view here. This is nice because you can go deep into subjects that you want to. So if you're interested in Harley Davidson, you can click on that and go there. But it's limited on what it shows to you. And on the mobile, let's just do the mobile view. It's worse than that, right? Because you can only see really 1.5 items per page here. So the new view will, there will be a toggle up here where you can toggle between the list and grid view. And the grid view will probably have on this page 16 items. So you can go much quicker through. If you're visually searching for something, say Funko Disney, there's 400 results, it will be much, much faster to get to what you're looking for. Excited about that. And, just in general, we have a full list of everything that we are working on in our knowledge base. So new features to come, our roadmap, this is everything that we're working on.
Oh, okay. All right.
By area. In fact, you can see everything in our, one of the things I'm excited about is we've just added locations to the member directory. So you can say where you are. And you can keep it whatever level you feel comfortable. So you can say I'm in the US, you can say I'm in Atlanta, or just in Georgia, so a state or a town. And you can make that a public or not public thing. But let's say if you like trading also, you can go into the member directory and find everybody likes Funko Pops or Dorps, let's say, which is probably harder. Everybody likes Funko Dorps.
Hey, let's not, Dorbs were great. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Dorbs were awesome. I really like Dorbs, by the way. I don't know if anybody that's watching this or listening likes Dorbs. Like that was the one line that, like, after the fact, I hear the most people talking about, like, oh, I wish they'd bring them back, or there was just something about them that was really good.
Anyway, if we go to subjects, you can actually, I find the subjects quite useful. So for example, here you can say, show me everything that's Funko related that is, say, a subscription service, or everything that is Funko related that's a character. Funko actually has created quite a few characters.
Yeah.
So if you look for everything for El Supremo or Proto or El Diablo, it's all there. You just can click in, and then you will see everything related to him. Come on, there we go. And you can go subjects up and down. So I click on Funko here, and now I can click on series, and that shows me all Funko series that exist. And here's the Dorps. So I can now go Dorps deeper. I can go into the series of Dorps and then click on Dorps XL, for example.
Yeah.
I can also go up. So parents. So here's the parent of Dorps XL, and here's a parent of Dorps. So you can click around here. It's a different way of interrogating our database, where you can see all the series and saying, well, what else did they make? So let's say you like the gold series. You can click on there and then see all the gold items.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Funko's made so many different lines. If somebody got into collecting, recently or now, they probably wouldn't know about a lot of this stuff. So
exactly.
Kind of
let's say you just want to go into, funky territory and look at Funko Pops. Here's customs. Here's all the customs that are out there. And if you like one, let's say this is Agent Grand Ward by Colleen Ayers. You can click on her page and then see more of what she does. So because there's so much creativity out there, we'd like to give that some exposure as well.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like for me, when I was starting collecting back in, I think it was 2014, 2015, like the Pop Price Guide was instrumental for me just knowing what was out there, because I didn't know anything about Pops. I kind of fell into it, and it was really fascinating to look at each category and see what was already there, what had existed, and that's what PPG, that it really helped me out in right from the get-go. So that was really cool.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about 2014, let's talk about Brian. What do you think of Thrill Guy?
From what I've seen, it's really neat. It's really neat. So one thing I thought about doing a little video about, like, every collector is like, oh, they're too big, they're too expensive, and then they hear like a topic like, wait, they're doing Thundercats? Where do I get it? And so it depends on their line and
totally does.
Tell you, what's that?
I mean, we just added all the Thrill Joy this week, as you can see them here. Yeah, I mean, that's so. Let's say you collect Funko, you use Pop Price Guide, but you want to buy one of these or you want to add one of these to your wish list. You can just go to hobbyDB because we have it. Click on your wish list, and now it's in your wish list. You get a notification. Doesn't matter if you use Pop Price Guide or hobbyDB. Yeah. So that's one of the benefits. But yeah, the idea is to have everything, and there's just so much funky new stuff out there. I mean, for example, I like Chomp. I don't know if you've seen him.
I have.
This guy, this character. By Abominable Toys. I don't know if I can pronounce it correctly. There's just so much fun stuff like, for example, that ketchup. That SketchUp Chomp here. It's kind of fun. So I also like the Barista Chomp.
Well, one more thing I'll say about the Thrill Joy stuff. I don't know if you've seen the pictures from New York Comic Con. I wasn't able to go this year, unfortunately, but like they really did not hold back. Whatever you think about whatever someone might think about the price point or the items themselves, or if they're interested, yes, or if they are or they're not. They have to admit, like they went all in, in their presentation and setups and like all the different license. That could not have been easy to do.
No, true. I find it funny because history kind of repeats itself. I just wrote this article here a few weeks ago about the whole industry of what I call a form factor. And the early Funkos were a form factor. They're all the same, as you remember. It started off with Playmobil and Lego minifig, and then it was Cores and Kubrick and Bear Brick and so on and so forth. And where's Funko? Funko's coming up here sometimes.
I think it was 2011.
There's Funko, right? I mean, in the beginning they were all the same. It was a form factor like it, and there has been quite a lot of other stuff in the meantime. But here I predicted that Thrill Joy will be like that, and we'll see if that's the case or not.
Yeah, and what they've put out so far isn't all the lines that they'll ever put out either. I think it's testing new things, and if Funko has shown us anything, it's that they're willing to try. And Brian comes from Funko, obviously, but
I think he's you can see Hanna-Barbera. He always liked that. I mean, I think he's just going to. I think he has enough money. It's not going to be as big as Funko, and he's going to do stuff that he really enjoys personally. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, hopefully maybe I'll get my hands on that Mum-Ra, the Thundercats Mum-Ra that I saw. That's been the piece that I was most interested in so far from any of the Thrilljoy picks. Yeah, I'm a big Thundercats fan. That was my go-to cartoon back when I was a kid. But back in the 80s and early 90s. Let's talk about the variants and subvariants that we got access to on here.
So variants and subvariants are a concept we came up with. Variant is basically the same casting, but it has a distinct difference. Mostly it's the paint. So here you can see there's 8 variants of that Boba Fett. And it's clearly, you know immediately what the difference is. Subvariants is something smaller than that, and we recently introduced this opening feature, which I like, where you can see what makes a difference. So this retro, for example,
I really like that, by the way. Yeah,
comes as well. It just makes it easier. In the past, you go to a new page. Now you can just do that. So this is the Bait exclusive, the special edition sticker, and the Funko Club sticker. And you can see the difference. So it's $19, $17.23. Not a huge difference there. You can do that with all of them. Right? You can see what are the different versions that came out. So this is the shared and the New York Comic Con exclusive. And you can do the same thing. You can close them as well. So the difference is basically a variant is clearly separate, blue and yellow. Gold chrome, red chrome, green chrome, and
the figure itself is different in some way.
Yes, and then the subvariant. It doesn't have to be a figure. It could also be that there were some errors on the figures. It's a small difference that is hard to tell, and for a subvariant, while a variant is a clear separate issue. So, for example, this Hot Wheel has 101 variants, different colors. You separate them out. You can immediately tell which one is which. And then this particular one has 5 subvariants. It's made in Malaysia and China and so on and so forth. Here, it tends to be sticker variations. Sometimes they're packaging variations. So, for example, the early Star Wars Funko Pops had 1 language in big font. And then later they had 3 languages, and a lot of people now want the 1 language. They are worth significantly more. That's a subvariant. And some people don't care about it, and you don't have to. Then you can just, hide it. So that's the idea of hobbyDB in general. You can go deeper or not. If you want to see those details, you can. If you're a loose collector, you don't really care because they're the same. And it tells you here on the overlevel that there was between 70 and 23. But if you go in, you can see which one is which and how much they're worth. And so you can add all 3 to your wish list or just 1, subject to if you care to get that particular subvariant.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice how it breaks it down like that.
And there's a little bit of editorial judgment, what makes a variant. I mean, generally it's clear, but sometimes there's a judgment call to be had. But all the information's there. The only difference between a variant and a subvariant is that the subvariant you just have to open to see it. What we felt was really important also for accuracy of your collection and the price guide is that we have these extra photos here that tell you exactly what to look for.
That's helpful.
The standard picture looks the same. It's this small little difference here that makes the difference, right? And then you just add this one versus that one. I think you also asked me earlier about the squads. It wouldn't work without them. That's our volunteer force. There's 2,600 people now, and we have them in these different roles. Relatively new is the rookie role. We bring on 5-6 new volunteers every week, some for Funko, but also many for other subjects that we cover. And the rookie role is new, whereby they can add to the database and they can do price points, but they're not in the catalog yet. Others don't see them yet. They have to be approved first by a mentor. That was an important drive and becoming more accurate because rookies make more mistakes. That's the name.
Sure.
So now, as a price guide rookie, you have to do 100 price points first. They get looked at, they get scored, and if you do well, then you get released in the wild, and then you become what we call a contributor. A contributor can add price points, and then a creator can add items to the database. A curator is responsible for a segment, say a series like Dorps. And a champion is responsible for a bigger area and has a few curators that they work with. And then the coordinator handles a whole brand like Funko or Hot Wheels or Mattel or something like that. So that's basically how that works. And you can see if you are a volunteer and you're in the price rookie, that's all you can do. And if you're a coordinator, you can do all of these other things. So it's very clear here who can do what, and it's a pyramid. So that as people, most of our coordinators have been with us for 5, 6, 7 years. And they know the site and they know it in and out and they know the policies, and so that we just get more accurate data. Because it's not easy to coordinate 2,600 volunteers.
It's a lot. It's a lot of volunteers for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, we bring in new definitions all the time. So, for example, we just had this big discussion about 3D print. It's not something yet in Funko necessarily, but there are lots of 3D printed collectibles, and what do we do with them? Right? So we had to make a decision because, as you know, when you print something in 3D, you can print in any color and any scale. So we didn't want that. We didn't want millions of different models of basically the same thing. So you can add it, but only once. And then the collectible is different. It's the same way as we had to do with that Funko Pop Yourself.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
There's a page for that. So you can add it because, if you have it, you want it in your collection. So you can add it to your collection, but there's only one page. So we're not going to create one for every single person.
Right.
There's, it's the same thing as the when I think there was actually, was there a white Funko Pop? I know there was a white.
Yeah, the do-it-yourself.
That's right.
One.
So we have that, and you can add that to your collection. And if yours is painted, yours is painted. But that's
you added one time.
We don't want that necessarily in the database, right? Unless it's done by an artist. That's where editorial judgment comes in again. If an artist does it, then we'll add it as an item made by that artist, but it doesn't show on the Funko.
Well, thank you, Christian. Hopefully you stayed till this part of the video because we're going to make an announcement, and thank you to Christian for being willing to put this discount together. So what it is anyone that is a subscriber to this channel, the Pop Enthusiast, and or is a member of the Facebook group All Things Funko with the Pop Enthusiast, you get an exclusive discount to get the premium plan for the Pop Price Guide. So what that looks like here is the first month, and correct me if I'm wrong at all, Christian, on this, but the first month, instead of $4.99, the first month you can get access to premium just for 99 cents. That's an 80% discount. For the quarter, if you pick that plan, it'll be $4.99 instead of $9.99 for the first quarter. Then it reverts to the normal rate, and then annually $24.99 versus $29.99. So I reached out to Christian. I did see a lot of the feedback in the community that folks were confused, or some people saw value, other people didn't, and wanted to see if we could have an opportunity to give folks a chance to try it out and try the features, try the marketplace, try those things at a reduced price that might fit more people's budgets. And Christian agreed. So I just want to say I really appreciate your openness to doing that for the community, and specifically our Facebook group and channel and all that. So how do folks access this discount? How would they go about doing that?
I will send you the link to the page, and I suggest you put it in the comments and in your Facebook group.
Sure, we'll have it below then. Yep, we'll have it below in this video, and we'll post about it. But yeah, we'll put the link below the description in this video.
Yeah, the page also explains all the benefits. One that I think is not thought enough about is ad-free. Even if you have an ad blocker, because we don't show the ads, the page is much faster. So that's a benefit. There's other stuff like the ability to export your collection. We have this new gains and loss report, but you can see it all on this page. So that page that has your deal poll also explains those, the features that the plan comes with.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if you've already purchased a plan for the full price and you're a member of my community, whether it's my YouTube channel or Facebook group, you can also benefit from this discount too for 1 month. Is that right?
I guess you would have to wait until the other ones ends, cancel that, and then take this one.
I see. Okay. So you can re-up with the discount later after the fact. Yeah, I appreciate you being willing to offer that to the community too. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, it is a extremely great value. I know that it can be, if you're not used to paying for something, it's harder to make that change. But when you put together all the different factors, all the different benefits that you get on the plan, the ad free, the showcase, and all those cool things that we talked about, the collection value tracking, even the tracking of gains and losses was another one that I saw that was really cool. No selling fees, which for me is probably the biggest benefit, just in my opinion. Trading, you can export your collection, you can add to the price guide. First access to exclusive offers, which I've started to see more of that on there too, that you guys are collaborating with different other partners and things, and you get the premium badge. So really, really cool stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, we have a vulnerable chomp coming up. This was the most recent one we did. That's an M2 hobbyDB model, but the chomp is probably more down your alley.
Could you show that again? I'm sorry, I took the screen off so they can see it. Okay, so that's a recent exclusive.
Yeah, we also did. We did 3 of these, which I like. That's a handmade by robot. Limited to 312. There's the vulnerable chomp coming. That has a chase. That's glow in the dark. That's going to be really cool. I think that's going to come in the next months. And there's a few other things we're working on.
Okay, so it's safe to assume more and more will be coming, like different exclusives and
more exclusives, more features, and almost everything that we've done over the last year, and that's quite a bit, has come from our audience. So people have ideas, let us know. We have a list of features to come in our knowledge base. If it's not on there, tell us about it. And we'll let you know if we can do it or not, and then we'll schedule it in.
Well, this has been great, Christian. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me and go through the benefits and the features of the Pop Price Guide and hobbyDB and the premium plan and what all that looks like. So it's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks, Paul. Same here. And if anybody has questions, if they put them in the comments, I'll try to read them, or you can let me know, Paul, and I will reply.
Sounds good.